Contingency table. The next section deals with the contingency table.
A contingency table or two-way frequency table is a table consisting of frequency counts of categorical data corresponding to two different variables. One variable is used to categorize rows and a second variable is used to categorize columns. When data can be tabulated in table form in terms of frequencies, several types of hypotheses can be tested by using the chi-square test. Test of independence of variables. In a test of independence, we test the null hypothesis that in a contingency table, the row and column variables are independent. That is, there is no dependency between the row variable and the column variable. The test of independence of variables is used to determine whether two variables are independent of or related to each other when a single sample is selected. Chi-square test of homogeneity. Test of homogeneity of proportions. A chi-square test of homogeneity is a test of the claim that different populations have the same proportions of some characteristics. The test of homogeneity of proportions is used to determine whether the proportions for a variable are equal when several samples are selected from different populations.
So the idea is that we continue using the chi-squared when we deal with contingency tables. We look at the concept known as the test of independence or test of homogeneity. It depends on what type of a data we are given. If data we are dealing with a single sample, is the test of independence we are interested in, and if it's several samples, it's the test of homogeneity of proportions. Now, again, we use a technology. It mentions what the technology is, and there are a couple of formulas that I want to mention. Again, E. When you have a contingency table, a bivariate table, then the expected value is calculated as the product of the row sum and column sum and divided by the grand total. Test statistic, chi-squared, is the summation that was mentioned in the previous page, O minus E squared over E. And degrees of freedom is R minus 1 times C minus 1. R is the number of rows and C is the number of columns. And then you go through the test of hypothesis, and H0 is the row and column variables are independent. There is no relationship between the two variables, whereas H1, the row and column variables are dependent. So that's the idea of a contingency table. This chi-squared test is used for contingency tables. It's used for goodness of fit.